Hi guys, my name is Borodante, and welcome back to Arachna. So, we did a pretty cool job in the previous episode. Well, I did, you didn't. And today we're gonna move on to the bottom part of the character using this reference of a scorpion. But before we do that, the moment I looked at this picture the next day after the previous episode, I immediately disliked the colors of this first necklace I added to the guy. So, this thing, we need to recolor it. Like, I don't know, at least the violet part. It looks too out of place. Like this cyan, like deep cyan thing, it looks cool, but this thing is just not from this place at all. At least that's what I think. But I don't see anyone else in here, so let's do what I say. So yeah, I'm gonna make it, like, I don't want to change it completely. Overall, I liked the combination of colors. It's just, I guess, too bright. Maybe I make it darker, it will look better. Like, if we have really saturated reds, then the cold ones should be darker, the way we had with cyan, and it worked really well. Alright, so I made the thing a bit dimmer, also worked a bit on the folds on the arms. It's alright. Most of the time I spent trying to figure out my new keyboard. I bought this Logitech MX keys. Really cool keyboard, works with 3 devices wirelessly at the same time, just switching between them with 3 keys right here instantly. And the mouse that comes with it, MX Master 3. Really cool stuff. I'll probably make a video about them, although they're not really art related. Really cool thing, really happy with it. But one thing that I'm bummed out right now is that, like, at the left we have control, which is good, which is where it's supposed to be. In here, it's a start button for Windows, and in here it's an alt button for Windows, alt key for Windows. But for the Mac devices or iOS devices, they're switched around. So alt or option key is now in the middle, and the control key, the system key, is at the very right. And it messes up all kinds of stuff. I'm used to holding alt to pick colors from the canvas. Now alt is like here. What am I supposed to do with that? There's like a checkbox, like always use Windows layout in the Windows driver for the keyboard, but it doesn't change anything, so I don't know. Kinda weird. I can get used to it, but then if I ever work on Windows with Photoshop, I'll have to... Why? Why do things have to constantly change? But that doesn't matter. What matters is that we're moving on to the legs. I'm gonna spend some time really putting some thought into actual shape of them. I did change it a bit in the previous stage, like this one. This was the new stage after these weird baby legs it had. But it's obviously not the kind of work that takes advantage of any references, so yeah, let's think through a bit more. I want to show, like right now, these legs, they're still kind of two-dimensional, in a way that, like, this particular leg, it's like going downwards instead of going forward. It should be like looking at us, and instead it's like going downwards. So yeah, that kind of stuff, and overall just improving the pose, I guess, the shape. So let's continue. kind of hesitant about these little feet at the end. Like at the tips of the Scorpio legs, it has like these feet. That's not usually what you add to like a creepy monster character when you're creating a concept. Usually just ends with like a crazy spike or something, which makes no sense, because how do you walk around with that? You'll stick into everything. So yeah, I decided to go specifically with the feet because I'm just sick and tired of those stupid, the same kind of legs that all the characters always have. This is at least something interesting, like more real and different looking from all the other concepts. I mean, if you feel like there's not enough of that for you, it's totally cool to do that. Like, you have to do it if you feel it's still cool, because the more you do it, the faster you grow through that to something actually interesting. Whenever I get this kind of problem, like I know that something is dumb, like creating big teeth for monsters, or I don't know, something that's like so deadbeat kind of concept for characters, but I just wanna try it out, you know, I wanna paint it myself. I'll go ahead and do it for sure. I never stop myself like, okay, this is not cool, people will think I'm lame. I'll do it for sure because that's the best way to just grow to actually naturally wanting to paint something really original. Maybe this leg should be like behind the tree trunk, because this one's already here and that leg is like the back leg. It should be in the back enough to be behind the tree trunk, not on it. Yeah, I think I like it much more. It feels like it's actually in 3 dimensions, like the tree trunk is somewhere on this level and that part is in the back and this part is in the front. Kind of adds the real 3-dimensional aspect to the picture. We'll change the pose a little bit so it would feel more satisfying, because right now it feels like it's hanging somewhere awkwardly, since it's not obviously standing on anything, it's in the air. Kind of cool. I like the highlights. Maybe the shape, especially like of this leg, became a bit broken. Before that it was like a bit more striking, specific, and with the addition of this extra foot, it's now kind of, I don't know what I'm about. So maybe I changed the shape a little bit. Oh my god, I just remembered. Some of you guys said in the comments that, well, duh, in the comments, where else would you say it? Some of you, like on this and this stage, you guys thought this was like a fur on the hood of the character and not teeth, because they were so dark. Like initially it was just a little hint, like a dark teeth, but when things became brighter, they really did look kind of like fur. But then I added brightness and a lot of you were surprised. Surprised jaw, how about that? Well, wasn't that hilarious? This should be darker, obviously. So I recently noticed, like in any overpaint or even like in my own paintings, most of the time what I do is just making everything darker and darker in all kinds of areas of objects. Like this place remained the same, but right now I made colors in here darker. Like pretty much everything. You see this part of the robe, it became overall darker. I removed bright values from it. And that's simply because that's the only way you can paint details or fix them. The problem in colors and in the way you paint something is in the values. So the top of the hood should be the brightest part because it's the only clean red piece of cloth that is facing completely upwards. It should be the brightest. Also, it's on the very top of the character, the top point of the character. So everything else should be darker, or the top part should become even brighter. But we can't really go much brighter. Like, I could, but it would make things like ridiculously bright. It wouldn't feel like forest. We need the sky over here to be brighter than the hood. And if I do that, the sky would have to become like just literally white, and that would feel kind of overexposed already. So that's the problem. Overexposure, you want to kind of avoid it. That's why, like all the classical paintings, they have this dim look, because they don't overexpose the brightest parts of the skin. In here, there will be all colors present, so everything else gets darker. And if you want to also have enough contrast, you have to bring that darkness pretty fast. So that's why most of the paintings, having losses in darkness is cool. Having overexposed white spots on your face or something, that's not cool. That's just the way paintings work. You don't like seeing overexposed parts. So that's the same kind of approach you do in the painting. You need to bring the brightness down, and only one area that is closest to the light source will be actually full brightness. Maybe slightly overexposed if you want to increase the dramatic effect of that, like the contrast. But the main area, that's where the real, deep saturated good colors will be. So you have to choose that value range where it should be, choose where the lights are so the overexposure wouldn't happen, or if it would happen, it would be just a little spot and that's it. If you have any sky in the shot, that means everything else needs to be darker than the sky right away, otherwise it just won't feel like sky, it will look like a wall. Anyway, let's go a little bit all over the place, maybe a bit on here as well, to bring some more details around. This probably also requires some work. I'll do a little bit more work right now, and at the very end of the episode there will probably be the final hour of work, so you guys make sure to check it out. And I think overall we're done here. I feel like the character is here, and we just need to polish a couple of things, and it'll be sick. Something went wrong with this leg. How is it connected to the body at all? That makes a bit more sense. There we go, this feels a lot more believable. When you look at this version, the arm is kind of oddly exposed, it's feeling flat. Doesn't really feel like a solid, real shape that we're supposed to think about it. And this way it's much more believable when it's dimmer there. More accurate values, that's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I guess this is it for Arachna. A pretty cool search, I had fun with it. But I think it's time to move on. Or get back to Black Widow, for instance. And yeah, I'll just spend a little bit more time on this in the end of this video, so don't forget to check it out. But from my talking head, this is it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!